As they took a 2-1 series lead into LA, and tonight as Kawhi and the Clippers try to even the series after blowing out the Jazz in Game 3. So, Freddie, who you got in this one?
I got the Clippers winning Game 4 because I thought this series would go to 6 or 7, so I'm not going to back away from that. And I thought the one thing the Clippers did was not so much playing with energy, but they played with intelligence. Because how many times, ladies, have we seen this team just going up and down the floor, just putting the ball in Kawhi Leonard's hands and hoping for the best? They were so efficient offensively, where they were able to move the ball and find the open man. They attacked the rim. They didn't care that Rudy Gobert was at the rim waiting for him. They said, okay, we're going to be there too. What are you going to do about it? They were able to reduce him just a little bit, and they were able to guard Donovan Mitchell just a little bit better. And I think this is where the absence of Mike Conley is going to be felt, because Donovan Mitchell has to do everything. He has to bring the ball up, facilitate. Joe Ingles can do it at times, but they want Donovan Mitchell to do it. When Mike Conley's in the game, then you can play Donovan Mitchell off the ball a little bit more. They can't do that until Mike Conley comes back. On the other side for the Clippers, so many other guys have been able to step up and make plays inside and outside. And when they're raining threes, then everything looks a lot better when they can get to the front of the rim. I think they're going to do that again. They slow down Donovan Mitchell, the spider enough, and they win Game 4 and make this a 2-2 series.
Tall task of a formula. Now, listen, the Clippers were on fire. I think Reggie Jackson, Paul George, and Nicholas Batum combined for 15 of 21, I believe, from three. I don't buy that they continue to shoot the ball that torrid from behind the arc. I actually think that the Jazz bounce back in this game, because when I look at this unit, we've talked all year long, Freddie, about how efficient they have been on both sides of the ball in terms of that defensive efficiency, the way that they move the ball, the way that they're able to shoot the ball. When you look at it, they didn't shoot the ball. I mean, it was 43%, which is not terrible in and of itself, but they did not match the way that the Clippers were able to shoot. And so I think we see the Jazz elevate a little bit on the defensive side. We see the Jazz continue to shoot the ball well. And to me, what we're seeing throughout this playoffs is the teams that have honored the game, quite honestly. You got to be true to the game, right? With continuity, have been together the bulk of the season, didn't try to skirt, matchups or anything in the playoffs. That, to me, is coming to fruition. When you look at both the Jazz and Phoenix, what they were able to do for the bulk of the regular season has come to fruition in the playoffs. And so I actually think the Jazz bounce back in this one. I still agree with you that this is a long series, but I think the Jazz get this one in LA.
Well, if they get this one in L.A., then this series is over in 5, because I don't trust that the Clippers are going to win Game 5 in Utah. Not at all. I don't think they have that kind of mental makeup to overcome a 3-1 deficit. They have the mental makeup to give away 3-1 leads, but not the mental makeup to overcome 3-1 deficits. So if they lose tonight, the Clippers, they're not winning Game 5. This series is going to be over. And think about this, Monica and Charlie. If the Utah Jazz don't win tonight, now it's a long series. Guess who is going to be helped by this? The Phoenix Suns. They're sitting back, hanging out with Aaron Rodgers in Hawaii. They got Mai Tais. They're playing canasta with people right now. If you're the Utah Jazz, this is really when you got to go after the Clippers, because the longer this series goes, the better it's going to be in the Western Conference Finals for the Phoenix Suns, who are already ready to get in relax mode, get their minds and bodies right for whoever comes out of this series.
You ain't have to.
These are facts. Suns are chilling. Now, LeBron, he's also chilling in a different way. He's on the court, but this time he's courtside supporting his son, Bronny. This is unlike any high school game you've ever seen before. Star-studded affair. LeBron brought along his friends, Drake, Jared Dudley. No big deal, okay? That's a high school game. No problem. Monica, what's one word to describe this scene?
This scene, in my vernacular, would be described as hype beastie, y'all. This is super hype beastie. Anytime Drake gets involved, and not that he's not a real fan of Toronto, but anytime Drake gets involved, the eyeballs are elevated. Like, we get it. LeBron has a son that plays basketball, blah, blah, blah. But this just becomes, oh, you seen Drake? Like, Drake was there. This is super hype beastie for me. And, take it or leave it. What are we? It's June? It's a high school basketball game? Like, come on, man.
This is when Twitter is great, because if we had not had Twitter, we would not have seen any of this, number one. My word is usual, because this is what Drake does. Monica, to your point, I'm not going to use hype beastie. You should patent that, because that's going to make you a lot of money. But this is usual Drake. Whenever he's around, he's going to let people know that he's around. I'm not hating on him at all. I'm not going to hate on any grown man or grown woman making their brand better and better. But was anybody really surprised that Drake showed up and was just going to sit back front row and not say anything or not do anything? Come on. I was born at night, but not last night. We knew that was going to happen. So this is the usual when it comes to the hype beastie man known as Drake.
This is nothing like my high school experience. I will just say that much. Nothing like it. So I envy the kids in that gym. All right, guys, it's been a fun show. Thanks for hanging with us, Molly and the guys. We'll be back.
First of all, the braids are on point, as always. But, Stephen A., when I was watching this game, I thought of you. I'm thinking to myself, Lakers out, Heat out, maybe Clippers out. I know your travel plans are looking kind of sad right now.
Yeah,
so with that being
Better
said,
hope Milwaukee doesn't beat Brooklyn.
are the Clippers done, in your opinion?
I think they are. I don't think they beat Utah. Well, first of all, it's not fair for me to even say it like that. What I mean is I picked Utah to win this series before it began. So I'm certainly not going to pick them to lose 4 of the next 5 games.
Okay.
So that's where that comes from. And the reason why I said that is because of 3 things, not necessarily in this order. They have a big-time perimeter defender in Royce O'Neal who can chase ball handlers around and chase stars around. They have an elite reigning defensive player of the year, frontline defender in Rudy Gobert. And they have a superstar. Make no mistake about it. Donovan Mitchell is a superstar. He's the kind of guy you can sit up there and say, here's the ball. Take us there. When everybody knows it's you, when everybody knows what you're going to do it, when everybody can imagine how you're going to do it, and they still can't stop you. It is official. This brother, after what he did last year, remember, sent Russell Westbrook and Paul George home in the playoffs a couple of years ago. And so breath smelling like Similac wet behind the ears, he pulled that off. Last year, he put on the show against Denver and Jamal Murray and the boys, even though they lost in 7 games. This year, he is 6-0. They are 6-0 when he is in the starting lineup. He is averaging 32. In this series, he's averaging 41 on 52% shooting. He is giving it to the Clippers. He is outshining Paul George and Kawhi Leonard combined.
MVP of the playoffs right now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He
Let's
is
put it this
outshining.
way. Donovan Mitchell, when he ended with 37, I was disappointed.
Listen.
He had 37.
You were like,
I was like 37. I thought he was going to go for 60.
You're like, at least get in the 4s.
Listen, y'all.
That's how good he is.
Listen, y'all, and understand what else he's doing. If you're Steve Ballmer,
Yeah.
the owner for the billionaire owner, multi-billionaire owner for the Los Angeles Clippers, building a new arena in Inglewood and all of this other stuff. If Donovan Mitchell takes your Clippers out, guess what, Max? Let Kawhi go. Let him walk. Let him exercise his option and go elsewhere. Because now you're talking about your best chances with LeBron James home. You're talking about this is arguably the Clippers' best chance to win the chip. If last year wasn't, certainly this year was.
Yeah.
And if you don't get it done now you're talking about retooling, rebuilding, trying to establish a culture. You can't establish, as big time as Kawhi Leonard is, you can't establish a culture with a dude that you've got to exercise load management with
right,
so excessively. So I'm just saying.
Can they win?
I'm just saying. The magnitude of what Donovan Mitchell is doing to these Clippers cannot go unnoticed.
And it's certainly not going unnoticed. It's the headline.
Yeah.
And by the way, Donovan Mitchell, most points, I believe this was before even this last game, to start a playoff career in the first 28 games, whatever it was. MJ, number 1, greatest scorer of all time. Wilt, number 2, second greatest scorer of all time. I think Donovan Mitchell's now 3rd on that list. MJ, Wilt, Donovan Mitchell.
Max, he's already the best player in Jazz franchise history.
Yeah,
ahead of Karl Malone.
When it counts? Oh, yeah.
He's already
when
better.
it counts,
He's already better.
Over
Yes.
Malone.
Karl Malone and John Stockton. Yes.
Stockton.
They were never him.
Okay.
Ever.
I just want to make sure everyone's hearing all these bold takes that are
When
happening.
the lights
We're only
shine
in the A
brightest,
block.
I agree. Donovan Mitchell's clutch factor is next level. But the Clippers can still win this series.
Okay,
Sure
tell
they
us
can.
why.
Sure they can. First of all, Stephen A., I have a question for you. Who won the first 2 games of the Clippers-Mavs series this season?
Mavs.
Who won the first 2 games in 2016 of the finals? Cavs-Warriors. First 2 games of Cavs-Warriors. Who won the series, Clippers-Mavs, this year?
Clippers.
And who won the Cavs-Warriors series
Cavs.
after falling down to 2? Who was the coach of the Clippers this year and of the Cavs then? Ty Lue.
Yeah.
Now, you know what's happening? Do you know why they're losing these games?
Great points.
They're on the road, okay? And they're getting the brakes beaten off them in the 3rd quarter. What's the 3rd quarter? Coach's quarter. You mean to tell me Ty Lue can't make adjustments? Now, that's on the road. Every series ever played, the road team either does what the home team either does what they're supposed to do and defends home court, right? Or the road team wins a game and it's like, the home team just messed up, right? The Clippers are going to have to win a game on the road. They're going to have to defend home court and win a game on the road. Can they do that? Yes, they can. Do they have the right coach for it? Yes, they do. Furthermore, Bogdanovich outplayed Kawhi Leonard on both ends of the floor last night. How many more times is that going to happen? Kawhi has bad games, all superstars do, but Kawhi is a clutch killer. You think he's going to let Bogdanovich outplay? He didn't let Luka outplay him all of last series. You think Bogdanovich is going to?
You're missing the point. Great points notwithstanding, you're still missing it. You see, when you have a superstar like Donovan Mitchell, and he's outshining you as a player, you can come back. But in the end, unlike Luka Doncic, he's got Bogdanovich, he's got Ingles, he's got Jordan Clarkson. They've done it without Mike Conley.
That's what's scary. No Mike Conley.
They've done it without Mike Conley. You have a perimeter defender in Royce O'Neal who's all over the place. All right,
I love me some Royce
O'Neal. It
O'Neal.
wasn't just Bogdanovich defending. It obviously was Royce O'Neal. Not only that, unlike against Dallas, you have someone on the interior that's telling you, you better stay out there and shoot them damn jump shots. You know what they have to do to make a presence in the interior? They have to bring in DeMarcus Cousins. And let's be fair to DeMarcus Cousins. He's no scrub.
He scored a couple times too, right?
When DeMarcus Cousins was healthy, he was averaging 28 a game.
Yeah.
Let's not forget
Highly
that
skilled
about this
scoring
brother.
and passing
It's
big man.
injuries that ravaged his career. He can play, okay? So let's understand this. When you look at it from that perspective, in terms of everybody else, the Utah Jazz are saying we're going to contest every shot on the perimeter of a Kawhi, of a Paul George. We're going to make, Reggie Jackson can drop his 29, but we're going to make somebody else beat us. On the interior, you ain't getting anything in here unless you go big boy, and that's not what the Clippers want to do because they're the best shooting team collectively in the NBA. And then on top of it all, you got Donovan Mitchell having help, and they can't guard him one-on-one.
Therefore, what
they can't guard him one-on-one.
And by the way, he's not like
Ty Lue had to go to a zone.
How many times is Ty Lue going to, like at a certain point, no Patrick Beverly for Rondo, and there'll be other things that he adjusts.
He had to go zone.
I know.
Zone.
Here's the thing that I've been saying since the beginning of this series, Stephen A. If Paul George shows up, because Kawhi will eventually show up in this series and he'll be big time. If Paul George shows up, they have a chance to win. If he doesn't, they don't, period. And showing up in the fourth quarter but not the rest of the game, scoring 20 points but taking a ton of shots to do it is not showing up. I'm talking about be his normal self.
But
a high-level, efficient
Did he
scorer
show
who
up
also
last
defends.
night in your
No, he didn't.
27 and 10, he still did. It was a bad 27 and 10 game. Believe it or not, it was.
It was
It was
bad.
not that impressive.
Okay.
But I will
Box
tell
score
you this.
misleading.
Here's the other point that you're missing. Every three that Paul George or Kawhi Leonard takes is contested or off the dribble. There are no open shots for